Hi, today we're going to be talking about Venus flytraps. We'll be getting into the question of how they can capture their prey, more specifically, how they close their traps. Before we do, however, a little disclosure, there is still some mystery concerning how exactly Venus flytraps open and close. Therefore, we are making a speculation concerning how it works, based on reasoning and our knowledge on a molecular level. First, before we dive into the cells of a Venus flytrap, we have to start with the basics. When a bug lands on a Venus flytrap, it hits one of the sensory hairs that lie on the surface of the trap. Once these sensory hairs are triggered, the plant releases a stream of ions. When the plant releases ions because of the sensory hairs trigger, the ions fall down their concentration gradient to the outer cells and the proteins close their gates, keeping the ions inside the membrane and therefore the cell. These ions then travel through cells by passing through the membranes, but because membranes are made up of lipid bilayers, they don't just let any molecule pass through. Instead, the ions pass through a protein called a gated ion channel, which acts as a gateway for those ions, closing and opening the doors depending on the plant's needs. This is where water comes in. The movement of water follows the laws of diffusion. This is called osmosis, which is basically where water spontaneously moves from areas where it is in high concentration to areas where it is in low concentration. Similar to the ion channel proteins that are located in the membrane, water has its own special gateway protein, aquaporin. Aquaporin, unlike other proteins, cannot open or close, so water moves freely throughout all of the cells and membranes. So if we compare the concentration of water in the cells newly filled with the ions to the concentration of the other cells without all those ions, the concentration of ions to water is higher in those outer cells. So due to osmosis, water travels from all those other cells where it is in high supply to the cells with ions, where water is in low supply. Since this water is leaving the inner cells of the trap to go to the outer layer of cells, the cells on the inside shrink in volume and with not as much water to fill them up. The cells on the outside, however, swell into their new intake of both ions and water. The swollen cells curve over the shrunken cells and the trap gives in by closing up, trapping the prey. So what started with a small trigger on a hair ended up as a series of complicated molecular movements that allowed the Venus flytrap to close. Again, this is not a complete explanation. This is simply a model that could be improved with more research. That being said, thank you for watching.